I lost 50 pounds in 4 months while eating ice cream every single day. So I know firsthand you don't need to starve yourself or give up your favorite food to reach 12% body fat. Since then, I've helped hundreds of guys to get in the best shape of their life. And in the next 10 minutes, I want to show you how you can do exactly the same. So full screen the video and let's lock in. This is what 1 pound of fat looks like. Pretty big, isn't it? There's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. So that's how many calories you would have to burn if you wanted to get rid of this much fat. Now, there's no precise answer as to how long it would take you because the rate you lose fat depends on a few things. First of all, it depends on your physiology. So your age, your weight, your height, and your sex. But it also depends on how active your lifestyle is, the type of activity they're doing, the type of exercise that you're doing, and how intensely you're doing it. But I did some calculations, and just to give you a couple of rough ideas, you would have to run for about 5 hours. You would have to do 6 or 7 60-minute HIIT classes back to back. You'd have to cycle for about 8, and you'd have to lift weights for 10 hours straight. Now, I don't know about you, but none of that sounds particularly fun. So rather than focusing on the type of exercise that you need to do to burn a pound of fat, one of these, shall I tell you how I do it instead? The first thing to say, and I'm hoping this will give you a little bit of peace of mind, is that the journey that you're about to go on, or maybe you've already started, isn't as overwhelming as you might think it is. There's a huge misconception when it comes to fat loss that you have to be doing an insane amount of high intensity exercise, particularly cardio. But that just simply isn't true. And once you figure out the most sustainable way for you to burn a pound of fat, you can use that same system to rinse and repeat over and over again, whether you want to lose 10, 20, 50, or maybe even 100. And now you've seen the size, hopefully that's given you a little bit of context and helped you to realize that you probably don't need to burn as much as you think you do. Right now, you just need to focus on losing that first pound. I've already told you that there are 3,500 calories in one of these, in 1 pound of fat. So the first thing you want to do is think about the rate that you want to lose that fat at. Very conveniently, if I were to divide 3,500 by 7, because there's 7 days in a week, that comes out to 500. That means if I burn 500 more calories than I'm consuming every single day for 7 days, I'm going to burn a pound of fat. Now that, to me, sounds pretty sustainable. But if it doesn't sound sustainable for you, you don't need to worry, because the most important thing is now you know the maths. And once you know the maths, you can make it work for you. So if you wanted, you could slow things down and focus on just burning an extra 250 calories a day and lose a pound of fat every 14 days, every 2 weeks. Because at the end of the day, and I really can't emphasize this point enough, the rate that you lose the fat is far less important than making sure that you're pointing in the right direction, you're on the right trajectory, and that you have a system that is sustainable for your lifestyle. Trust me, once you've got those things in place, once you're consistently seeing changes on the scales and how your clothes are fitting and being able to tighten the notch on your belt every couple of weeks, you're not going to care how fast you lose the fat. You're going to have so much peace of mind that you're on the right path, and that's the most important thing. Then I'd be thinking about how I want to do it. And honestly, whilst I'm always going to encourage you to do exercise, I wouldn't make it the main focus, because as I've just told you, 5 hours of running, 8 hours of cycling, 7 HIIT classes back to back, none of this stuff sounds particularly appealing. And even if you were to extrapolate this, that's the big word for a YouTube video, isn't it? Even if you were to space this out and think, okay, well, 5 hours of running, so I could do 5 1-hour runs every single week, or even 10 30-minute runs, that's still 2 4-hour cycles. That's still a HIIT class every single day. And again, none of this maths is really mathing. So what I would do instead, or at least what I would aim to do, is consume, eat and drink 250 calories less and aim to move the equivalent of 250 calories more. What I've done there is attack this from both sides. I've created that 500 calorie deficit without putting myself on some crazy, boring, restricted diet, and without forcing myself to do any crazy extreme exercise. And as a result, creating that 500 calorie deficit by attacking it from both sides, I'm still going to lose a pound of fat every single week. And what's crazy is that we don't just burn calories when we exercise. In fact, the vast majority of our calories we actually burn at rest. This is called our BMR, and it stands for basal metabolic rate. It's the number of calories that you burn when you are doing absolutely nothing. And it's crazy to say it, but it adds up to about 70% of the total calories that you burn. It takes a lot of energy to keep your body alive, and your brain, this thing up here, is the most metabolically active organ in your body. It keeps your organs functioning, it keeps you breathing, and ultimately it keeps you alive. And apparently it takes a lot of effort to keep us alive. And now if I'm aiming to just eat 250 calories less and move a little bit more every day, suddenly this becomes pretty easy, right? And once you understand that, once you realize that, you don't look at fat loss like this massive mountain that you've got to climb. You realize that you can push the envelope a little bit further. You start to think, well, if that's the maths, then why don't I just consume 3 or maybe even 400 calories less? And why don't I then add a couple of gym sessions in a week or a couple of runs and aim to burn an extra 300 to 400 calories a day? And suddenly then you've created a 750 or even 1,000 calorie deficit every single day. Now, you're not just going to burn one of these every single week, you're going to burn 2. Now, of course, I don't want you to get overly excited. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. That might not be sustainable for you, and that's absolutely fine. I'm merely showing you what is possible. Because once you understand the science and the maths behind calorie deficits and how calories are burned and sort of the context of different types of exercise and what they do and how long you need to be doing them for and the intensity and all of this stuff. And also, once you actually realize what 1 pound of fat actually looks like, pretty damn massive, hopefully you start to realize that what you're about to start, or maybe what you've already started, the journey you're already on, doesn't need to be as overwhelming or difficult as you think it is. It doesn't need to consume your life. It doesn't need to be extreme, and it certainly doesn't need to be complicated. Anyway, let's talk about how I would go about consuming those 250 calories less, and then we'll come on to how I would burn 250 calories more. So when it comes to the eating side of the equation, the calories in side, I'd be focusing on 4 things. And the first of those is to make sure that I'm eating a high fiber, high protein diet. Now, there's a few reasons for this that I'm not going to get into in this video because I don't want to overcomplicate this. But the main reason is that both of those, fiber and protein, are going to keep you feeling fuller for longer. They stabilize your blood sugar levels and they prevent your energy going like this throughout the day. Secondly, I would focus on staying hydrated, drinking lots of this good stuff. Again, water satiates you, it fills you up, and it does this because it literally sits in your stomach. When it sits in your stomach, it sends a signal all the way from your stomach to your brain saying, hey, we're full. So the next time you're feeling a little bit peckish, a little bit hungry, have a glass of water first. Wait 15 minutes and just see how hungry you feel then. Because the chances are you ain't hungry, you're just a little bit thirsty. The fact of the matter is, if you have 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 pounds of excess body fat, you ain't going to need to eat for months, but you are going to need to make sure that you're drinking water every single day. Most men are walking around chronically dehydrated and they don't realize the harm it is doing them. And then thirdly, I'd be focusing on getting as much whole, nutrient-dense, single ingredient, high fiber, high protein food into my diet as I possibly can. Fruits, vegetables, eggs, fish, meat, whatever it may be. The fewer ingredients that are on the label, the better. Again, this is all about feeling satiated. It's all about keeping those hunger hormones and those cravings at bay. Whole, nutrient-dense, high-fiber, high-protein foods are harder for your body to digest, break down, and process. It's going to prevent you from feeling hungry because it stabilizes those blood sugar levels and keeps those hunger hormones at bay. And fourth, I'd be looking at what I'm already eating and drinking and thinking about any swaps I can make. It's absolutely essential that you eat at least one thing that you love every single day, because otherwise this is just going to feel like any other diet. It'll be painful, it'll feel boring, and you'll just be waiting for the day that it ends. Eating something that you love every single day makes it feel like you're cheating on your diet. And when you get that feeling, when you get that dopamine, it makes it so much easier for you to stay on track. So it's less about eliminating what you love and more about looking for sensible swaps. Swapping condiments like mayo and ketchup for the light version. Swapping full-fat sodas for the zero-calorie versions. Cutting out the mocha, frappa, wankachinos and swapping them for Americanos. Cooking with 1-calorie spray instead of olive oil or butter. Or doing what I did and swapping cookies, chocolate and chips for half a tub. Yes, half a tub of Halo ice cream every single day. Most people can save at least 1,000 calories a week just doing this. And then when it comes to the other side of the equation and focusing on burning those extra 250 calories, I'd do two things. First and foremost, and without a doubt the most important, I'd be prioritizing walking at least 45 to 60 minutes every single day. That's going to add up to anything between 8 to 10,000 steps, depending on how fast you walk. And honestly, that alone is going to help you burn an extra 250 calories a day. Most guys don't even realize this, but they're only walking about 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. Doubling that is going to take care of this. It might sound overwhelming, but walking is one of those things that you can multitask whilst you're doing it. Whether it's catching up with friends on voice notes or calls, listening to audiobooks, podcasts, playlists, you just have to be conscious and mindful about where you can build your steps in. You don't have to do them all at once. You can break it out throughout the day. But if you make this a daily non-negotiable, to be honest, you could change absolutely nothing else. You could eat exactly the same and you're still going to lose probably about half a pound of fat every single week. It's not stressful, it's not challenging, and it's free. Secondly, I'd be lifting weights, but only 3 times a week and about 45 minutes per session. That's then going to help you burn an extra 300 calories per session, so about 900 calories a week. And I hope you can agree that, relatively speaking, what I've just taken you through sounds pretty easy. I'm not asking you to eat much less. I'm not particularly asking you to move a lot more. I'm asking you to spend less than 3 hours a week in the gym, and I'm only asking you to walk for 45 to 60 minutes a day. But making these small tweaks, and then very importantly, being consistent with them over a period of time, is going to help you burn a pound of fat a week. So hopefully this video has helped you to realize that whilst exercise is important and incredibly valuable, it isn't the be-all and end-all when it comes to fat loss. I was looking around the gym this morning and 50% of the guys looked mind-numbingly bored. They didn't have a clue what they were doing. They were there because they thought they had to be there. But ultimately, I know they're all going to quit. They're working out without any structure, without any focus, and without any real goal. And what's crazy is they're probably leaving the gym and having a 300-calorie coffee afterwards. They are mitigating all of the hard work and boredom they just suffered through in 5 minutes. Level 1 of fat loss is understanding the maths and the science behind calorie deficits, the basic stuff I've taken you through today. You don't need to know that much to become pretty damn good at this stuff. Yes, there are layers. We could talk about macros and exercise splits and lots of complicated processes and different types of diets and all of this stuff. And I've done videos on all of it. But this video is designed to break it down into the core, simple fundamentals. It's to show you and prove to you, hopefully, that this is so easy, anyone can do it. And I'll leave you with this. Even if you were to train like Arnold Schwarzenegger, 6 days a week, 2 hours per session, you would only be spending 7% of your week in the gym. Think about that. That means that you've got 93% of your time outside of the gym. So what you do outside of the gym counts for about 30 times more than what you do in it, your lifestyle and your habits. But listen, I know firsthand, having been through the pain myself, that putting this into practice and then doing it consistently is much easier said than done. So if you'd like me to build you your own personalized workout program and nutrition plan, and then more importantly, hold you accountable for the rest of 2025, then feel free to go ahead and click the link under this video to check out exactly how my elite coaching program works. Or if this is the first time that you're seeing my face on YouTube and you want to get to know me a little bit better, then feel free to check this video out next. And I'm going to break down the 4 levels of fat loss and how you can turn this into a little bit of a video game.